Daddy, do you know any scary stories?
Well, let's see. You've probably heard the one about the Curse of Griffith Park, and the Lincoln Heights Jail,
Yeah.
and Greystone Mansion.
Yeah, I listen to Allie Meekly.
Now, son, I told you never to do that.
But Dad, they're hit or miss.
Damn it, son, they're an embarrassment to this city.
Aw, don't you know any scary stories?
Yeah. You ever heard about Carroll Avenue?
Ooh, is that scary?
Well, it's Halloween themed.
That'll do.
Our story begins in 1886 when the horse-drawn Temple Street Cable Railway began operation, suddenly opening up a whole new area of land to the residents of the city. And with land comes opportunity, and with opportunity comes two men named William W. Stilson and Everett E. Hall, who applied for a plot of land up in the new area bordered by what is now Echo Park Avenue on the west, Sunset Boulevard on the north, Boylston Avenue on the east, and the 101 on the south. And they named it Angeleno Heights, spelled E-L-E.
Dad, did you hear something?
Frankenstein! I heard it was spelled E-L-I.
Yeah, I agree with the crime against nature. I thought it was spelled E-L-I too.
You're gonna side with the guy with the criminal brain? I belong dead.
Dad, I think you hurt his feelings.
He doesn't have feelings. Anyways, they wanted to attract to this land the upper middle class who wanted to live near downtown, but not be in the heart of it, and with the cable car providing easy access into town, that could easily be accommodated. Their selling point was this area had a nice view and it was quiet. They sweetened the deal by filling the area with huge, beautiful Victorian homes in both the Queen Anne and East Lake styles. They managed to get 51 of these homes built, but then the stock market crashed in 1888 and all construction stopped. And it stopped for a long time. Construction didn't resume until the early 1900s, but by then the Victorian style was out of fashion, so houses started popping up in the Craftsman style, and eventually Mission Revival, and then Country English, and Brownstone, and Streamline Moderne. You'd think this would turn out ugly, but it's not. It created an eclectic neighborhood where every house had its own personality. The houses were originally all painted white, but they found that the sun glare that caused was too much, so the houses started to be painted in vibrant, beautiful colors.
My
Dracula!
Lord! Dracula! Did somebody say sun glare?
Yeah, I think.
Well, I don't like that. Hey, it's kind of cold out here. Can you invite me in?
No.
Well played!
As we were, it started attracting the city's elite once again. People like Leo Politi, who even wrote a children's book called Angeleno Heights. Gloria Swanson lived here. Even our old chili dog-eating movie palace opening friend Mary Pickford.
Mary Pickford again?
Bride of Frankenstein! What did you two say to my husband? We didn't say nothing to nobody, you old bag.
Oh!
I never! So, this area is often called LA's first suburb, but in fact, it's only LA's oldest suburb. It was the second suburb of LA. The first was the area we now know as Bunker Hill. Much like how Angeleno Heights was created, the wealthier residents of downtown wanted a place to live outside of the hustle and bustle, but still in close proximity. So in the mid to late 1800s, Victorian mansions started to pop up there, and by 1890, Bunker Hill was a hot residential area. But the city was already creeping in by the early 1900s, and the social elite moved west to West Adams to have more room, and by the 1920s, Bunker Hill was just another working class neighborhood of downtown, and all of its glamour was gone. The area started to decline as the years went on, and the hill in its name was starting to become a roadblock for the city's expansion, so in the 50s, a plan was laid out to level most of Bunker Hill. This meant displacing some 22,000 working class families who were living in the Victorian homes turned apartment buildings. This meant losing these signature Victorian homes. Most of them got razed and are lost forever, but some got transported to other parts of town, most importantly to Angeleno Heights, and some eventually found their way to the Heritage Square Museum. In 1968, the last two Victorian homes of Bunker Hill left, the Castle and the Sandbox. Both were safely relocated to a new area and were burned down shortly after by vandals.
Fire purifies all, doesn't it, Dad?
Where did you... There's no one there.
Isn't there?
The Invisible Man?
Indeed!
The Invisible Man! Did you leave?
No.
All right then. A similar but less damaging situation was happening in Angeleno Heights at the time, and as great as the neighborhood was, by the 40s and 50s, people weren't interested in these old-style houses anymore. They wanted the new houses that were being built in the suburbs that were popping up further away from downtown, so families started to leave. On top of that, these old houses were just too expensive for one family to maintain, so they started to get divided up into apartments and multifamily homes to make it more affordable. Boarding houses started popping up, and many of the homes fell into disrepair and the neighborhood started to become dangerous. In the 60s, however, the hippies started to move in and they brought with them a new interest in the Victorian homes. Then in the mid-70s, the Carroll Avenue Restoration Foundation formed to help protect these homes, and the restoration began to bring this area's homes back to their former glory, and it worked. On August 10th, 1983, Angeleno Heights became LA's first historic preservation overlay zone. Then the 1300 block of Carroll Avenue was added to the National Register of Historic Places for having the highest concentration of Victorian homes in LA. All of the houses on this block are from the late 1800s, mostly 1887 to 88. About a dozen of them are even cultural historic monuments of their own right. They have houses in there like the Foy House at 1337. This house used to be in Bunker Hill at 7th and Figueroa and was the house of the famous Foy family, whose daughter Mary went on to become the Los Angeles Public Library's first female city librarian.
I know her from Meekly. That's the first episode.
What did I say? This is the oldest house in Angeleno Heights, but it didn't come there until 1992. Also in the neighborhood is the house that Everett Hall himself lived in at 917 Douglas Street. You might recognize some of the houses from TV and movies also, like the Michael Sanders house at 1345 Carroll, showing up in the Thriller music video, and the Ennis house at 1329 Carroll being the house from Charmed. This one was also the model for a dollhouse you could have in the Sims video game.
Yeah, you told me to like that game.
Also filmed in the area was Mad Men, Earthquake, and a lot of the old Keystone Cop movies. The interior of 1407 and 1320 Carroll were used in Salem's Lot. Wait, what was that?
Dad, it's Michael Myers.
Actually, it's Mike Myers. Does this cameo make you horny, baby? Yes, but I'm with my son. Please leave. Oh, donkey! Since Carroll Avenue is a historically protected area, the houses here get tax breaks, but they are all rigorously monitored and any sort of painting or construction needs to be approved. The 1300 block has no overhead electrical lines to make the area seem more authentic, and they even added historical street lamps and old horse hitching posts to complete the illusion. They regularly have walking tours of the 1300 block that take you inside a few of the houses, and they're trying to bring the trolley back to the area, but it's really the best place in the city for Halloween. How many zippers are on this thing?
Oh, Wolfman, come on! Dad, what'd you shoot him with?
Silver bullet. So what I was saying was some people call it the haunted district. Despite the fact that there's no reportings of any actual hauntings, it's a great atmosphere for trick-or-treating. In 2014, about 2,500 trick-or-treaters came down Carroll Avenue. Sometimes they close the whole street off. Parents bust their kids in from all over the city. It's one of LA's best-kept Halloween secrets. Park Ranger!
You know this is an illegal campfire.
Dad, what'd you shoot him with?
Bullet.
I love you, Dad.
I love you too, gun. Don't tell your mom I still have this.
I'm still here.